Alright, so here we are, back for the second episode. I'm gonna go ahead and start putting this engine back together. I do have the new lifter. It is a used lifter, but it is a working one. As you can see, or as you can hear, nothing, right? And this was the one that we pulled out. So, you can tell that's a bad lifter, you know. That shouldn't be happening. You shouldn't be able to hear anything. It should be solid. And this one too. This one was in there. This one. Yes, a lot of play right there. So that's not good. So that's a bad one. I'm gonna just go ahead and leave this one here. So we have this new lifter. We have to go ahead and prime it before we put it in. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that first. And then, so I'm just gonna go ahead and prime it right here. What we just wanna do is make sure it's dumped in oil until about right here, because this is the part that holds all the oil. So you just wanna go ahead and leave it in there. I'm gonna go ahead and throw the exhaust lifter in there too, so they're both getting primed up in there. There's a little bit of air bubbles coming out of it, so that's good. Okay, so I just finished cleaning everything. This thing is basically spotless. There's no rust on it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get the lifters, put them on the tray, and then just go ahead and install the tray. And then I'm gonna go ahead and install the gasket and put on the head. I do have to drain the oil again because I'm not sure if any water got in the pan while I was removing the head. So just to make sure, I'm gonna go ahead and remove the plug as well to see if there's any water in there. And then I just finished cleaning the block. It is pretty clean now. It does not have any rust on it. It was surface rust. It wasn't that much of a big deal, but just to make sure, I went ahead and cleaned it. Make sure the gasket seals. Either way, you know, you always gotta clean it before you put on a gasket. I do have to clean the head as well, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. But after that, we're going to get the lifters, put them on the tray, and then just slap the tray in there and we can put on the head. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and continue the assembly. I'm gonna go ahead and grab the lifters, put them on the tray, slap the tray on there, bolt it down, and then we're good for the head. I believe that's it. And then we'll just continue with the head, bolt pattern, everything like that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and grab the lifters, put them in there. Alright, so already got everything cleaned. I will go ahead and spray some more brake cleaner on it and wipe it again just to make sure, just in case if I dropped any oil on the on the block might prevent the gasket from sealing. And then after that, it's just gasket, and then the head comes on. So I'll go ahead and clean this and get the gasket and the head. Okay, so I'm back here working on the Suburban. I just got the brand new gasket in from Jegs, so I can go ahead and continue working on it. So what happened was I tried to reuse the gasket, but sadly it had like a plastic face on it, and as you can see, it kind of, since it was in the car, I tried cleaning it, but there's plastic spots that just kind of melted off the gasket, and I was skeptical about putting it back in because it might just not seal properly and get a water leak. So I might as well just do the job properly the first time and not worry about it later. So I went ahead and just ordered another one so we can go ahead and start assembling the Suburban. So right now I'm gonna go ahead and clean the surface once again and go ahead and put the head back on. I don't need to put in the ground, but for now, just the head, and we're gonna focus on that. Okay, so now that I looked at the gasket, it does look like it's damaged right here. I don't know if you guys can tell, there's like a crack on it. That's how it came from Jegs. So mainly I'm concerned about water lines, but this part is from the lifter cover, so it basically goes right here, and right here there's no water lines or anything that goes up here on the top, so I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm still gonna put it in. What I'm mainly concerned about is if it had a crack around here in between the cylinders, or right here had a crack out here, that would prevent this part from sealing, and water would just rush through and just dump into the oil. So you want to make sure everything's okay with the gasket. For this one, it is cracked right here, but no, as I said already, no water goes through it, so at least from this part of the gasket. So I'm okay with just putting it in. So just go ahead and put it in there. On the other side. Okay. All right, so with that, we're ready to put the head on. Let's see. Yeah, so I'm just gonna go ahead and clean the head again just to make sure everything's clean and perfect, and then we're gonna go ahead and slap it in. Okay, so I got the head on. I got all the bolts put in. I haven't tightened them yet. I need to go get the right socket, and with the right socket, I'm gonna grab the drill as well so I can tighten them all down, and then I can go ahead and start doing the torque pattern with the torque specs. Because these are so long, I'm gonna be here wrenching on them for a while, so it's better just to grab the drill, drill them all in, and then just go ahead and torque them all and finish them off. For now, I believe that's it. I just need to get the right socket. So I'll be right back with the tools, and we'll go ahead and continue. So so at the moment I'm kind of stuck. I'm trying to find the flexible for the 1/2 inch, but I can't seem to find it. So I'll be right back, see if I can find it. Okay, so I got them all basically tightened down, and I have my my torque wrench here. It's just a little clip, like a little extension that you put on, and it beeps whenever you get to the desired one. So I have it set to 22 foot-pounds, so if I tighten this one a little bit, eventually it's gonna get to 22. Right now it's at 20. It's warning me that I'm about to get there. 21.8. There you go. So it starts beeping kind of longer, and right there it tells you how much I tightened it. So 23.1. It's not that bad. It's okay if you go over 1 or 2, but and now all we gotta do is go 90, and then 35 degrees. Okay, so I forgot to mention, you need the bolt patterns for all the bolts. You always gotta make sure you have the right bolt pattern. The bolt pattern, which is 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right here, 7, 8, 9, and then 10 down here. So I'm gonna do that real quick with the 22 foot-pounds, and then we'll continue from there. Okay, so right now I'm gonna go ahead and do the 22 foot-pounds on every bolt, according to the bolt pattern, and then we're gonna go ahead and go back again, do the 22 foot-pounds again.
Do me wrong, do me right, do me
Okay, so I went ahead and tightened them again to 22 foot-pounds just to make sure they were all tightened up still. And right now I'm gonna go ahead and continue with the 90 degrees. So you usually have to use a tool, but since it is a head and it's inside the engine, I can't really put it anywhere, and it doesn't work too well either. So I'm just gonna go by eye. So basically 90 degrees is a straight angle. So from here to here, that'll be 90 degrees. So I just gotta make sure the torque bar goes all the way up here. So as an example, I'm just gonna go ahead and push it all the way up. And there you go. 90 degrees right there on the torque bar. Okay, so I just finished the 90 degrees on all the bolts. So right now I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing for all of them again. Okay, so I just finished the second round of 90 degrees on the bolts. Damn, I'm pretty tired. I'm out of breath. That was quite a workout. So now I just have to go ahead and snug them up a little bit more. I'll probably do so, just a little bit, probably like 10 or 20 degrees, not too much. Okay, so now we got all the bolts torqued down, and so now we're able to go ahead and put on the lifters and the rockers. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. Okay, so I just put in the push rods and everything like that, but I think I'm gonna call it a night. It is pretty late, so I'm just gonna continue work tomorrow. So today I'm gonna be continuing working on the Suburban. For now, I'm just gonna go ahead and start putting the rockers on. Okay, so I got all the rockers on there. I'm gonna go ahead and spin the crankshaft to make sure all the valves are opening and closing correctly, and tightening everything, all the individual rockers again if they do shift a little bit. Okay, so I just spun the engine, tightened everything down. Everything looked fine. Now I'm gonna go ahead and play with the headers. I gotta figure out a way how to put them back on. I did just drop them down, but now I gotta find a good way to put them back on because they are pretty heavy. I might just get a jack underneath and go ahead and raise it up. Put the bolts through it, put the gaskets in through the bolts, and then just tighten it down to the head. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so I got all the bolts put in already. It was easier if I put on the other ones. It kind of lined it a little bit. So now I'm gonna go ahead and tighten them, and then we'll just continue putting the valve covers and the solenoids. Okay, so I just finished tightening the header bolts. Now I'm gonna go ahead and continue assembling the center part of the engine. Right now I have to put in the solenoid cover. I'm gonna go ahead and clean this first so I get a proper seal. Okay, so right now I'm gonna go ahead and just install the intake manifold. I believe I'm not missing anything. I am gonna tighten these bolts just to make sure they're tight so I don't lose any water whenever I do turn it on. I don't want to take off the intake manifold again just to put on a little screw. Anyways, I'm just gonna check everything, make sure everything's tight, perfectly put together, and I'm gonna go ahead and clean this again, the heads on both sides, and go ahead and put in the intake manifold. Okay, I got the intake on there. I do have to put the bolts for it. I have to tighten the bolts for it. I also have to get the the fuel rail bolts put in as well. A couple vacuum hoses and stuff like that, but mostly the wiring. But for now, I'm gonna call it a night. This was harder than it looked. Since it was sitting out for a while, a moth made its home in here, so I had to take it out, throw some brake cleaner through the hose, make sure I got all the junk out of there. But now it's clean, it's perfect. Basically I just need to put the bolts in, put the bracket in, the alternator in, but I do want to make sure it runs first. So basically just the essentials. I'm gonna put water in the block as well, but I'm not gonna connect the water pump. I just want to fire it up. I won't shut the I won't put the valve cover on it either. I do need the spark plugs as well, but I'm gonna do that tomorrow because it is pretty late now. It got pretty dark quickly. So I'm gonna call it a night, and we're just gonna go ahead and continue tomorrow. Okay, so we're back here working on the Suburban. It's been about a day since I worked on it. I was pretty sick yesterday, so I'm just gonna go ahead and continue today. I left off basically, I had to bolt down the intake, put in the fuel rails, and that's about it for the top end, I believe. Obviously, I do have to put in all the wiring as well, but for now, I gotta focus on bolting everything down. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue on that. Okay, so I got the intake bolted down, got the injectors in as well. Right now I'm gonna go ahead and install the spark plugs for the cylinders. Obviously I only have 7 of them because I did break one. So I'm gonna go into my garage, see if I can find one. I'm pretty sure I have some more, but we'll put in the spark plugs and then I'll continue with the wiring. Okay, so I just got a brand new spark plug, so I'm gonna go ahead and install them all. Okay, so I just got the spark plugs tightened. I cut my finger pretty bad on the head. They're pretty sharp, so you gotta be careful whenever you work on your Chevys. So now I'm gonna go ahead and plug everything in, and as well, I am gonna install the the power steering bracket. Okay, I got the bracket put on. I don't want to put the alternator just yet. I do want to make sure it runs fine first, so I'm gonna go ahead and install the wiring. I have to put in the injectors, the throttle control module. It's already on there. I just need the plug. It should be around here somewhere. Oh, there we go. This one. But I connect all this little stuff, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that first. Okay, so I got everything put back together. Connected the injectors and everything. So now what I'm gonna go ahead and do is get the coil pack and put it in for now. I do wanna crank this engine and make sure that all the lifters move and everything like that. So, you know, I'm making sure if it doesn't run right, I can go ahead and visually see if all the lifters are opening and closing. Okay, so that was pretty easy. It's gonna get harder whenever I have to put the valve cover in there and then put the bolts on it. But now I'm gonna go ahead and put the oil in so I can crank it. I have to put the oil and the water in. So we're gonna go ahead and continue there. Okay, so I got all the intake put in, got everything tightened up. So right now I'm gonna go ahead and plug in the battery so I can go ahead and crank it to check it. Oh, actually I need to put in water as well. So I'm gonna put the battery on, connect the positive lead, and then go ahead and put in some water so we can go ahead and crank the engine, see if it's running fine or not. Yeah. That's what we're looking for. So all the lifters are working fine. Okay, so now we're ready to start up the engine. The owner's here and he will be driving this home tomorrow, so So we're gonna go ahead and start it yesterday. We finished pretty late. Went for a ride, but we couldn't really hear much. We could hear a little bit of ticking.